Hi, today we'll be talking climate finance. I'm Chris Wright and I'll be speaking with Hela Cheikhrouhou, who is the head of the Green Climate Fund. So Hela, what is the Green Climate Fund?
Hi, it's good to be with you. The Green Climate Fund was established by the 194 parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change to serve as a main financial entity under the convention. So the purpose of the fund is to provide financial resources to developing countries to help them invest into low emission and climate resilient projects, which allow the whole effort globally between developed and developing countries to set us on a path for a sustainable future with less than 2 degrees global warming.
And where does the GCF stand at the moment?
Out of the $10 billion that were pledged as contributions to the fund in Lima, in the Conference of the Parties of Lima, out of that, more than half were signed as contributions with us. So it means that we can start to approve projects and programs in the developing countries. So we can start to deliver on our mission, basically.
Great.
Yes.
So what do you see some of those projects being? Like, what do you think they could be in the future?
So the projects that the fund can support can be like, if you are in an African country which has a rapidly urbanizing area, help them build that urban center to be smart in terms of both being energy efficient, water resource efficient, but also resilient, so that if it's a low-lying coastal zone, how do we deal with the fact that climate is changing, or there is increased strength of typhoons, etc. So both efficient and resilient cities. So we can work both ways with the mayor of the city and the city financials itself and provide support. And we can work with the private entrepreneurs that are helping the city. That's one area where, as you know, 75% of greenhouse gas emissions already come from cities. And that's with only half of the population in cities. In the next decades, 3/4 of the world population will be in cities.
Wow.
So that's an important area to be in. Then the whole aspect of land use, forest preservation, agriculture that becomes resilient and able to withstand a changing climate is a big area for work as well, because we still have a number of lungs for the planet. These big rainforests in Central Africa, in Latin America, we must stop the deforestation and reverse those trends and find economic models that make it feasible financially to do so, also by increasing the yield of agriculture so you don't have to burn the forests to do agriculture. So the whole land use space, working on degraded land to make good use of it so that you don't have, again, to kill forests to do that. So that's one big area also where it's severely underfunded. Less than 5% of global climate finance is going to the area of land use, forest management. And then, of course, you all are familiar with the fact that there are a group of countries that are particularly at risk of disappearing because of climate change. Those are the small island states, developing states, and those are a target for us to support them build their resilience. Find technologically viable solutions to protect your country from a rising sea and increasing severity of natural disasters. And finally, of course, goes without saying, energy access and clean energy sources will continue to be important. These are the type of projects we will be doing, and we will be doing them not only with the governments, but also with the private sector.
How are you going to be able to come to decisions about what type of projects to implement in the future?
So the business model of the fund is that we are going to be, as an institution, really lean in our structure, but we work with partnerships. So our money will be channeled to the beneficiaries, to the countries and communities through a network of accredited entities.
Yeah.
These entities would have to demonstrate that they can meet our fiduciary environmental social standards, know how to deploy the financial instruments, but also be willing to increase their strategic focus on climate action for the projects where they are deploying resources of the fund. In addition, we are very much country driven.
Yeah.
So we have another network of the national designated authorities or focal point. Each government is like our country office. We are not going to have country office. It's costly, but the government has a structure which tells us these are my national priorities. I've discussed with my NGOs and civil society, and I want you to focus on these sectors in my country. And so it allows us also to guide the other network of accredited entities and institutions to say, for that country, the priority are these as defined by the country. So please focus on bringing me that type of projects. So we're not going to be doing everything in every country. We will do what is mostly transformative for that particular area. We already have 126 countries who nominated their focal point in government, the network of entities, and then we have 55 institutions from all over the world have already filled their application to be considered for accreditation. So we are moving at great speed, and we are looking for ways of rolling out activities on the ground, also at scale and with speed, because of the urgency of acting on climate change.
Do you have a plan for how the GCF might kind of develop in the future, and what are you looking at in the future?
I would say that the GCF has been decided by the parties to be a main long-term partner for the developing countries in their effort to move to low emission and climate resilient trajectory, and for the developed countries to transparently provide new and additional finance through the GCF. So in that regard, I truly believe that a successful implementation and adoption of a Paris Agreement requires that the future of the fund be clearly articulated there, that the parties that worked so hard in the last few years to launch the fund continue to put additional resources, because the level of funding that we have today is very limited compared to the scale of the responsibility that has been given to us as a mandate. So we need that clarity that this instrument, the fund, will be there to support the parties, and it will be provided with additional level of resources over time.
Well, there you have it. That's an amazing amount of information about the GCF and about some of its projects and I guess its future direction. And obviously, as you say, you know, it's really requiring some clarity at the moment. And if we're going to get some good finance moving forward in the future, it really requires a lot more countries to step up and to contribute to the fund so that you can keep doing all the wonderful work that you were talking about just now. Thank you very much for talking to me.
Thank you very much.
And have a great day, and I hope you get a lot more money coming your way very soon.
Thank you very much. Great to meet you.